6 feet by 9 feet, the size of a parking space. This is where you'll spend the next 23 hours, alone, in silence, with nothing but concrete walls and your own thoughts. But that's just a beginning. Most people think solitary confinement is just being alone in a cell, but there are levels to this isolation, each one more extreme, more devastating, and more psychologically destructive than the last. Right now, on any given day, between 80,000 and 100,000 people are locked in solitary confinement in the United States alone. Some for days, some for decades. Today, we're going inside every level, from basic disciplinary segregation to the places the government doesn't want you to know exist. This is your life at every level of solitary confinement. Level 1. Disciplinary segregation. You got into a fight. Maybe you were caught with contraband. Maybe you talked back to a guard. Whatever the reason, you're being sent to the hole. This is Level 1. Disciplinary segregation. For most inmates, this is their first taste of true isolation. Your cell is 6 by 9 feet, a concrete bed, a steel toilet, a sink. That's it. The door is solid steel with a small slot for food trays. 5:30 a.m. Fluorescent lights buzz on. You haven't seen the sun in days, but your body is woken up anyway. 6 a.m. A tray slides through the slot. Breakfast. Powdered eggs, maybe some oatmeal. You have 20 minutes to eat before the tray is collected. No conversation, just the sound of metal on metal. Then, nothing. You sit, you pace, 5 steps from wall to wall. You sit again. You try to remember what day it was. Was it Thursday when you came in, or Wednesday? 11 a.m. Lunch appears, the same way breakfast did. 2 p.m. The slot opens. Recreation time. You're handcuffed, led down a hallway, and placed in a slightly larger concrete cage. No equipment, no other people. Just you and a small patch of sky visible through metal grating. You have 1 hour. Some guys do push-ups, some scream. You just stand there, trying to remember what normal feels like. 3 p.m. Back to the cell. 23 more hours until your next hour of freedom. At Level 1, you might still have some privileges, books from the prison library, paper to write letters, but no phone calls. No visits, no physical contact with another human being. Duration, usually a few days to a few weeks. The effects, even at this basic level, your mind starts playing tricks on you. Time feels distorted. You become hyper-aware of every sound. Some inmates report talking to themselves just to hear a human voice, even if it's their own. But if you think this is bad, you haven't seen anything yet. Level 2. Administrative segregation. Administrative segregation, or ADSEG, isn't a punishment for something you did. It's indefinite isolation for who the prison thinks you are. Gang member, witness in an investigation, too high profile, too vulnerable. The reasons vary, but the result is the same. You could be here for months, years, sometimes decades. The cell looks the same. 6 by 9, concrete, steel. But this time you don't know when you're getting out. Month 1. You try to stay positive, do exercises, meditate, count the days. Month 3. The walls are starting to feel closer. You've memorized every crack in the concrete. You know exactly how many steps it takes to cross your cell. 5. And you've walked it 10,000 times. Month 6. You're seeing things. Shadows move in your peripheral vision. You hear voices in the ventilation system. Are they real? You don't know anymore. Your only human contact is the guards, and they're instructed to minimize interaction. When your mother visits, she sits behind thick plexiglass. You can't hug her, can't touch her hand. You pick up the phone and talk for 20 minutes while looking at her through scratched, foggy plastic. She cries. You can't comfort her. You can't even remember what human touch feels like. 3 times a week you're allowed to shower. You're handcuffed, escorted, given 5 minutes. The water is lukewarm. It's the highlight of your week. Year 1. Your memory is failing. You can't remember your nephew's name. You forget words. When you finally get a phone call, you struggle to hold a conversation. Your thoughts are fragmented. You sleep 16 hours a day, not because you're tired, but because it's the only escape. In your dreams, you're free. You're outside. You're with people. Then you wake up to concrete. The psychological effects are severe. Clinical depression, hallucinations, panic attacks, hypersensitivity to stimuli, social anxiety, memory loss, paranoia. According to Dr. Stuart Grassian, a psychiatrist who studied solitary confinement for decades, the psychological damage from extended isolation is similar to physical torture. Your brain is literally deteriorating from lack of stimulation. But we're only at level 2. There are places where isolation becomes something else entirely, something worse. Level 3. Supermax prisons. ADX Florence, Colorado, the Alcatraz of the Rockies, the most secure prison in the United States. This is where America sends the worst of the worst: terrorists, gang leaders, prison murderers, people the system has decided should never ever interact with the general population again. Your cell here is different. This isn't just concrete and steel. This is designed for complete sensory deprivation. The cell is 7 by 12 feet, poured concrete, soundproofed. All furniture is solid concrete, the bed, the desk, the stool, all one piece, built into the floor. There's one window, 4 inches wide, positioned so you can't see the ground, the horizon, or any other living thing. Just sky. Just to prove to you that a world still exists outside. Everything is remote controlled. The lights, the door, the shower. You never interact with a guard face to face. Your day, every day, for years. You wake up. The lights are on 24 hours a day, so you're not sure if it's morning. Breakfast comes through a slot. You eat alone. You sit on your concrete bed. You stare at the wall. Maybe you have a book. Maybe you don't. Lunch comes. You eat alone. You're allowed to shower. The water turns on remotely. You have 5 minutes. No one watches. No one speaks to you. Dinner comes. You eat alone. You lie down. The lights stay on. You try to sleep. Repeat. For years. No human touch. Not for years. Possibly decades. No conversation. Some prisoners go months without speaking a word. No stimulation. The soundproofing is so complete that you can hear your own heartbeat. Thomas Silverstein, convicted murderer, spent 36 years in solitary confinement, much of it in a specially designed cell at ADX Florence. When he was finally allowed a visit from a lawyer, he couldn't make eye contact, couldn't hold a conversation. His voice was weak for disuse. He described it as a slow, constant peeling of the skin. At this level, psychological destruction is almost guaranteed. Prisoners lose the ability to initiate behavior, massive anxiety attacks at the thought of human interaction, severe cognitive decline. Hallucinations become constant. Many develop obsessive behaviors, counting steps, organizing dust, anything to give the mind something to do. Self-harm is common. Some prisoners cut themselves just to feel something, just to see that they're still real. One former prisoner said, "I started biting my arms, not to hurt myself, but to know I was still there, to feel something real. After a while, you don't know if you exist anymore." Some prisoners have literally asked to be executed instead of remaining in solitary confinement. Death, they said, would be more humane. The United Nations has called solitary confinement beyond 15 days torture. At ADX Florence, the average stay is years. Some will die there, never having touched another human being again. But there's one more level, one that most people don't even know exists. Level 4.
black sites, and communication management units. Communication management units, CMUs. The prison system calls them self-contained general population units. Prisoners call them Little Guantanamo. There are two official ones in the United States, Terre Haute, Indiana, Marion, Illinois, and possibly others we don't know about. Who ends up here? Primarily prisoners labeled as terrorists or threats to national security. Disproportionately Muslim. Journalists have documented that 70% of CMU prisoners are Muslim, despite Muslims making up only 6% of the federal prison population. This isn't just solitary. This is communicative death. Your life here? All communication is monitored and restricted. Phone calls limited to 1 per month, 15 minutes,